Hi, today we're covering the disappearance of Tina and Bethany Sinclair, a mother-daughter duo who disappeared in 2001. Tina Sinclair was born on November 29, 1966, in Brattleboro, Vermont. It was noted that she was rather close to her family, in particular her sister Sharon. Eventually, at one point, Tina would move down to Florida and get married. While not much is known about those early years, what we do know was that in October 1985, she would give birth to her daughter named Bethany. Bethany spent most of her childhood in Florida. However, in the year 2000, when Tina was 34 and Bethany was 14, Tina would go on to divorce Bethany's father, then decided to move back to New England, as it was meant to be a fresh start for the mother-daughter pair. But tragically, less than a year later, both Tina and Bethany would disappear without a trace. Now, for those looking for Tina, they were rather lucky since she had some rather unique physical characteristics that set her apart. She had a butterfly tattoo on her right ankle and a vertical surgery scar on her abdomen. That, along with childhood injuries having left her with a broken right arm and collarbone, and the markers of those, along with her ears being double pierced, would have allowed those who were searching for her to have a significantly easier job. Well, in the year 2000, it was noted that Tina had met a man by the name of Eugene Van Bowman Jr. However, it is unclear exactly how they crossed paths with each other, but apparently they quickly hit it off. And just within 3 months of dating, Tina and her daughter Bethany had moved into the Bowman's home at 182 Mountain Road, Chesterfield in New Hampshire. At first, everything seemed picture perfect, almost too normal for Tina's family. However, it would not take long before they noticed that their relationship between Tina and Eugene had begun to quickly deteriorate. Apparently, they had rather frequent arguments, which got incredibly heated, as it seemed that the hope for a fresh start had quickly faded for Tina. By October 2000, the Sinclair family, in particular Tina's sister Sharon and their mother, Mary, grew increasingly concerned for Bethany's safety in particular. Their fears, it seems, had stemmed from a troubling fact. Eugene had been charged with adult assaulting his own 8-year-old daughter back in the 1990s, and they had just recently found out about it. This disturbing revelation prompted Sharon to urge Tina to allow Bethany to move in with her in Connecticut. However, this suggestion did not sit well with Tina, leading to a rather heated argument between the two sisters. Tina would go on to assure Sharon that she had the situation under control, and even mentioned plans to leave Eugene. Unfortunately, this would be the last conversation Sharon would ever have with her sister. Despite her intentions, the mother-daughter pair would remain in Eugene's home for the following weeks and months, with no change in their living situations and apparently no plans to change it. The mystery truly starts on February 3rd, 2001, as Bethany Sinclair went through her usual routine at Keene High School. She was a quintessential teenager, a good student, had a solid social circle, and was rather well liked by her peers. It must also be noted that Bethany had a boyfriend, and that on that evening, the two enjoyed a date before she returned home, and afterwards, they talked on the phone that night until around 11:30 p.m., apparently discussing plans for a Valentine's Day date. And her boyfriend had been noted to be rather excited about giving her a ring that he had purchased just for the occasion. Unfortunately for all those involved, this phone call would be the last time anyone ever heard from Bethany ever again. That same day, Tina had a regular day at work as a home nurse. It must also be noted that she had just recently finished cosmetology school, so her schedule had been significantly more cleared up, marking a new chapter in her life. However, by February 5th, 2001, it seems the situation had taken a rather dark turn, as an unidentified woman had called Keene High School and informed them that Bethany would not be attending class that day, though Tina's family would later tell WMUR in 2011 that they knew who made the call, and that they could not reveal the name, as it was a crucial detail in the ongoing police investigation. Tina had last been seen proper on February 2nd, 2001, the day before Bethany attended her final time in school. Despite the seemingly normal events leading up to that day, both Tina and Bethany mysteriously disappeared without a trace, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. It wouldn't be until February 10th, 2001, that Keene High School would inform the police that Bethany Sinclair hadn't been attending her classes. It seems that this truancy report had actually been helpful in notifying the authorities of a potential crime. This prompted the authorities to conduct a welfare check at the residence that she and her mother shared with Mr. Eugene Van Bowman Jr. at 182 Mountain Road. When police arrived, Eugene told them that he and Tina had gotten into an argument on February 4th, and according to him, he left the house for a while, and when he returned, Tina and Bethany were gone. He claimed that most of their clothing was also missing, but oddly, their other personal belongings, including Tina's 15-year-old cat along with her vehicle, remained at the house. And it was noted that Eugene's property bordered the Connecticut River, and a witness came forward saying that he had been seen on the river in a yellow scat hovercraft at around 4:30 a.m. on February the 4th, the same day he had claimed that the argument had taken place. Despite this lead and an extensive search of the area with the thought in mind that Eugene may have gotten rid of the mother and daughter's bodies in the river, an examination of said river and the home turned up no concrete evidence of what happened. As this investigation continued, another clue would eventually surface. On February 5th, the day after Tina and Bethany were last seen, it seems that an unidentified woman called Keene High School to report that Bethany was sick and that she wouldn't be attending classes. And even though authorities did, in fact, identify the caller, they have not, as of this date, publicly released the name or identity of the individual. However, it seems that this has also not led to any actionable intelligence. The search effort over the years has been rather extensive, including a full search of much of the Connecticut River in 2014. However, authorities have not disclosed whether anything significant was found during that particular operation. During the entire investigation, Tina's sister, Sharon, would strongly express that she believed that Tina had been planning to leave Eugene Van Bowman and that their relationship had become increasingly troubled, with family members alleging that Eugene was abusive. On the other hand, it seems that Sharon had constantly maintained that Tina would never leave, or at least voluntarily, with Bethany in February 2001. Adding to these concerns had been the fact that none of the family members had heard hide nor hair from Tina just prior to or after her disappearance, despite how close Tina was with her loved ones. What's more, there had been no activity on any of Tina's bank accounts, her cell phone, or credit cards. She never even cashed in her last paycheck. There was also no traceable activity on either Tina or Bethany's social security numbers, which made the idea that they had just skipped town and created new identities for themselves significantly less likely, or the fact that they had been killed in order to gain money, credit card information, or their social security numbers. And even more concerning for the family, Eugene, who had been charged and convicted of adult assaulting his own daughter and had served a prison sentence, reportedly refusing to cooperate with investigators any further than he originally had. And even though he hasn't been named as an official suspect, the insistence of his family's statements lead many to believe he was. To this day, this case remains unsolved, with no sign of life or even the remains of either Tina or Bethany. Their sudden disappearance, it seems, just left an empty void, with no traces of what could have happened to them. What exactly happened to Tina and her daughter Bethany Sinclair on the weekend of February 3rd, 2001 remains a mystery, and unfortunately, even though throughout the years Tina's sister and her mother remained relentless in their fight for answers, Sharon would pass away in 2016 after a long battle with cancer, and in 2021 Mary also passed away, silencing the last two voices who were actively advocating for Tina and Bethany. And unfortunately, the last major effort in this case occurred in 2014, where dive teams would focus on the area of the river behind Eugene Bowman's home and a half-mile area around Vernon Dam in Vernon, Vermont. While this case does remain unsolved, with little to no evidence of what had happened to both Tina and Bethany, authorities believed they likely died under suspicious circumstances. Predominantly, they believe that foul play was involved. If you remained with me until the end, I thank you, and I do hope you stay tuned and subscribe for more content.